surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
'Cause that's the bottom line. 'Cause Stone Cold Simpson.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 99 of the Wrestling Matters Podcast. My name is Anthony Walker, the penultimate episode of the fastest growing podcast around, the WM Podcast, baby. My name is Anthony Walker, like I say. Welcome to the show. Hope you're all doing well, whatever it is you are doing. And yeah, 99 episodes, guys. Who'd ever think it, eh? One away from 100. 100 is officially next week. 100th episode of the podcast. At the moment right now, I have guests coming on. I have a guest coming on, but hopefully that will grow. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do today? We're going to talk Raw. What else can we do? Raw, Smackdown, NXT, TNA, and yeah, why not? It's back, Ring of Honor. It seems I've missed a lot since Ring of Honor. I've missed 2 weeks of Ring of Honor, fortunately. But it seems that I've missed a lot in respects of who's coming back. Because I found out from a reliable source that Kenny Omega's making his ROH debut. Or returning to ROH. So that should be intriguing. It seems that the Bullet Club are no more, from what I'm hearing. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, very intriguing. We're going back, and then we're going back to promotion as well. And a few promotions at the end of the show. And I'll tell you what's in store for the 100th episode, and why you should tune in to listen to the 100th episode of the Wrestling Matters Podcast. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I've had a bit of a hectic week. Not much has popped up in the world of professional wrestling. I watched a video the other day, Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham on YouTube, and it represents NoDQ.com. Check out NoDQ.com for all your reliable information on the world of professional wrestling, WWE, Ring of Honor, and whatever. So watch that video, and it seems that Jeff mentions Lucha Underground. It was the state of the address of the professional wrestling business. And don't get me wrong, he had some great points. I mean, he talks about WWE being complacent, and Jesus Christ, they are. They've been complacent now for how long? Don't get me wrong, they do the odd good thing now and then, and just when you think they're up this high pedestal, and just when you think they've dropped all the way down and sunk as low, and then sometimes and somehow they always grab it by the throat and wrench it back up again. They've done that before. I'll admit that. But he has an issue, and many people have an issues, from what it seems, with Lucha Underground. I've seen it a few times, and hey, I wasn't disappointed with what I saw. And I never noticed the issue that I'm going to bring up and I've discussed it with many people on Facebook, and many people I talked to, like Steve Dawson and Darren Dyer and Darren Dyer and Tim Vicious and that. They seem to like Lucha Underground, and that's fair enough. They like it, no problem. But Jeff didn't like it because it's too Mexican soap opera. It's like a soap opera from a television show. Like we have in the UK, like EastEnders and Coronation Street and shit like that. It's very soap opera-y. It's not half soap opera, half wrestling. From what I got from Jeff anyway. It's more soap opera, more wrestling, or more soap opera, less wrestling, I should say. I don't know about that. I mean, everybody has their opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinions about the world of professional wrestling. Trust me, I have been a wrestling fan all my life, and I've had many opinions. But, I mean, what do you guys think of this? I mean, get in touch with me at WM Podcast, or Facebook me, facebook.com/WM Podcast as well. Or if you want, drop a drop a comment in the YouTube page or something, or even drop a comment on SoundCloud as well. It's very, very, very intriguing. I mean, I don't understand. I think Jim Cornette doesn't like it because of the violence in it. You know, he never liked ECW, quite frankly, the old ECW. So I could probably understand why he wouldn't like Lucha Underground in a way. But yeah, I mean, the only promotions that I like at the moment outside of WWE, you know, the two promotions that I like at the moment, Ring of Honor, you know, good or bad, they do some good stuff, no doubt about it. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, love them. British wrestling very much is on the horizon and very much lives in the, especially in the UK. And not only that, Progress Wrestling as well. They do some good stuff as well. Some phenomenal stuff in Progress Wrestling. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand the hatred towards Lucha Underground. I mean, if you can look through Lucha Underground, maybe, and just think of the wrestling side, you'd probably like it because they do some good stuff. I mean, I watched that match that involved, what I call it, what's his name? Vampiro the other day on YouTube. It's on YouTube. I don't know what the opponent's name is. I forgot what the opponent's name was. But they literally beat the crap out of each other in a hardcore death match kind of move. And Joey Ryan's even signed with them as well. And even Johnny Mundo. And for those of you that don't know who Johnny Mundo is, WWE fans recognize him as John Morrison. Johnny Mundo, the last time I saw Johnny Mundo, he was getting put through a plate glass window by Alberto El Patron, Del Rio to you and I. And yes, Melina was still hanging around, which, to be honest with you, she's more like a cockroach now. But anyway, I mean, like I said, guys, drop a comment, email me underscore HEAD at head 316. It's not easy to say. Head 316 at hotmail.com. Get in touch with me. What do you guys think of the Wrestling Matters, of the Lucha Underground promotion? You know, comment me on YouTube. Get me on Twitter. You know. Get me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/WM Podcast. It's very intriguing to know. I mean, I want to know what people think about the Lucha Underground promotion. All in all, guys, it's been relatively quiet. I got this week as well, Randy Orton will not be eligible for WrestleMania, from what I've got. Bear with me a second, I'll get some things up. Yeah, Randy Orton will not be eligible for WrestleMania. His injury is still playing up on him. Speaking of Lucha Underground, by the way, Awesome Kong was released by TNA. I forgot to mention that last week. Where is it? The Rock's going to be starring in another movie sequel. Oh joy. It seems that Daniel Bryan retired due to a concussion lawsuit that was done by Big Vito. Anybody remember Big Vito, WCW star? And WWE, I say star, I use that term loosely. But I think he only retired because of that. That's what it says on NoDQ.com. I'll leave NoDQ.com's link in the description below. And yeah, so Miz gets high praises from a WWE legend, who's praising the Miz? Oh, Mick Foley. Good God. Mick, what you doing, man? Early betting odds on WWE's WrestleMania show. According to 5 Dimes, Roman Reigns is currently the favorite to leave WWE's WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion. We know that. That's a foregone conclusion right there. And it seems, according to an update that was made at a Japan show by a blogger for the Japan promotion, which I'm guessing is New Japan Pro Wrestling, it seems that Carl Anderson is going to WWE. A Japanese wrestling blogger wrote the following regarding Carl Anderson's coming to WWE. Carl Anderson revealed that he will go to WWE today is the last match in Japan for him and Doc Gallows. Will Doc Gallows be joining him? Probably. Carl Anderson said, New Japan Pro Wrestling fans are the best fans in the world. I want to come back someday to get the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Carl Anderson said, I have to go and find the real who I am and be a big star, which is fair enough. You know, he wants to make it in the business, so you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that at all. You know, he wants to be somebody. So Christopher Daniels has a new deal with Ring of Honor, and it's funny on this right now. You see TNA mixed in with Ring of Honor. You know, TNA is now an indie promotion. It seems that TNA is now an indie promotion, man. It's a shame for what they used to be. Anyway, Impact's viewing chips are down this week. Ex-WWE star reacts to the comments. Shane Helms reacts to the comments from Ronda Rousey's suicide comments as well, which is I could care less about. Excuse me. Trevor Lee wins the X Division title. Mocks IWC fans. It's IWC. Yeah. Trevor wins the X Division title. He beats. Yeah. This was a couple of weeks ago. Defeated Tigre Uno on the Impact show to become the new X Division champion. Lee previously held the tag team titles with Brian Myers as part of that fucking GFW invasion. But this is the first singles run with the company. Lee and former WWE star Shane Helms in his corner and tweeted this after the big win. Yeah, for all the haters in the IWC, this is for you. X Division Champion Savage, hashtag fancy. Okay, a few other things I want to discuss before we get before we go to the quick commercial. One, wrestling news. Let's go to Wrestling Zones. Let's have a look at the Wrestling Zone website. It seems, according to a website, breaking news, Wade Barrett is leaving WWE. Wade Barrett is leaving WWE. This was breaking news. Pro Wrestling Sheet is reporting superstar Wade Barrett has given his notice to WWE and will not be re-signing with the company when his contract expires in a few months. According to the report, sources told Satan, is it Satan or Satan? Sorry, that Barrett recently told WWE his decision for his decision and his reason for leaving is because he no longer enjoys his role in WWE. And you know what? Who the fuck can blame him? This motherfucker should be world champion. He should be one of the big dogs, you know, competing with Cena and competing with people like that, you know. Except he won King of the Ring and he did fuck all with it, you know. And the King of the Ring show was a joke anyway. So you know what? Good for him. Maybe he can come home to WWE, you know. Maybe he can come home to ICW and sound with that. Oh hell, fucking hell. Join Progress Wrestling. Oh well, go to Ring of Honor. No, join that. Get something in there, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's amazing how that can happen, man. It's amazing. It really is. Undertaker's opponent. More, the possible thing. It's all about Braun Strowman, right? As we reported last night, this is from WrestleZone. As we reported last night, several names who have been ruled out as possible opponents for The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32 include John Cena, Kevin Owens, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. It was added by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer that The Undertaker's opponent will be someone who is not on the roster right now. When asked if that meant someone from NXT or outside the company, Meltzer offered the following during last night's wrestling. Please make it Sting. You know, I'm just reading this now. It's unlikely giving it to Bill Goldberg. There's even talk about Goldberg doing it. If you're not going to put John Cena, Braun Strowman, or Kevin Owens or people like that in there, give it to Sting. Let's just do it right now. WrestleMania 32, Sting's in the Hall of Fame. Let's just do it. Undertaker versus Sting. Let's just get it over. You know, let's just have the match. Whether it's a clusterfuck, whether it's a fucking barn burner, whatever. Let's just fucking have it, okay? Let's just get it over with, you know? And then you can say, at least you can say you tried, at least you can say you had it. I mean, surely it can't be the worst fucking match in WrestleMania history. And trust me, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg from WrestleMania 20 is the worst match in WrestleMania's history. You know, I mean, Jesus. There's a card here for WWE's March to WrestleMania Network special, which takes place March 12th. Sees Roman Reigns beats Sheamus. AJ Styles makes his Toronto debut. Chris Jericho hosts a highlight reel with special guest The New Day. Usos, The Miz, Brie Bella, Paige have all been announced. And Brock Lesnar goes one-on-one with Luke Harper, which should be very intriguing. Yes, Brock Lesnar goes one-on-one with Luke Harper, so that means Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, which should be very intriguing indeed. But yeah, if you're not gonna give Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, any of them characters or any of them people as the opponent, just do it. Or if you want, here's a match for you. How about Finn Balor? If you're gonna bring someone from NXT, let's get Finn Balor up there. Undertaker versus Finn Balor. I'm down with that. All day long, I'm down with that. Cesaro will not be at WrestleMania from what I'm hearing as well. What we see. And yeah, that about top WWE diva expected to leave WWE very soon. Who's that? Let's have a look. Yeah, just as I suspected, Brie Bella is expected to leave WWE very, very soon. So I know why. I know what for. She'd probably be joining Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan's not on there right now. She'll probably want to spend time with Bryan and look after him and be the wife, which is fair enough, I suppose. You can't fault that. You can't argue with that whatsoever. But there you are, guys. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you've enjoyed that first part there. And part 2, I'm going to play the Raw review that I did and the predictions as well for Fastlane. My predictions for Fastlane. I'll play the result. The review next week. I did a Raw review and the prediction show this past week on my YouTube channel, the Wrestling Matters YouTube channel, and I'm going to play the audio for that coming up next. And then after that, I'm going to go through Smackdown and NXT, and then I'm going to talk TNA, and then I'm going to talk Ring of Honor. There's no ICW this week. ICW is having a little 2-week hiatus, from what I'm hearing. There is a show taking place. There is a taping taking place. It took place yesterday. So I would imagine there'll be something out this week. So ICW will be back. back, probably on the 100th episode. I have to review that. If it's not on the 100th episode, it'll be there during the week. And you know what? I'm going to play the audio as well later on. So ICW will be on the show later on. I'm going to play the audio for Season 2, Episode 8 and 9 review that I did this past week. So stay tuned for all that. Wrestling Matters Podcast, the penultimate episode before the 100th episode. The last one before the 100th episode. Hope you guys are enjoying it. And I'll be back right after this. So stay tuned. There's more to come. If you like the Wrestling Matters Podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM Podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Beautiful wrestling fans, it's me, it's at HEAD, back with you for another video. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am way behind. I know. You don't have to remind me. I am way behind schedule that I usually am. I scheduled this for 3 o'clock. Let's just say I've had a nightmare today. I really have had a nightmare today. But I'm going to bring you it. I promised you it today, and damn it, I'm going to bring you it. This video today. It is the Raw review, and not only is it the Raw review, it is Fastline Predictions too. Now, I don't know what to make of Raw, to be honest. I saw some things last night which quite frankly shocked me. It was a shocking Raw, but it was also a very, very disappointing Raw. Very disappointing Raw. Raw took place in Anaheim, California, which was the site of WrestleMania 16. Yeah, a very, very poor Raw. Stephanie confronted the Intercontinental Champion. Stephanie confronted the Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose, to kick off. And, it was just the, same old. And Stephanie puts Dean Ambrose in a fatal 5-way. Yes, you heard me correct. Not a fatal 4-way, a fatal 5-way match. Involving Tyler Breeze. I believe, Tyler Breeze was one. Kevin Owens was the other. Kevin Owens, Tyler Breeze, and it was unbelievable. I have to check out the thing. It was Kevin Owens, Tyler Breeze, Stardust, Dolph Ziggler as well. Oh, joy. Now, the perfect way to start, because it was a great match, but I'm a little bit pissed off because Dean Ambrose is no longer the Intercontinental Champion. Now, don't get me wrong, this was a great match to start off, a great fight. But who came up with the idea for to drop the title? I have nothing against Kevin Owens winning that Intercontinental Championship. Now people might get their wish. And that wish being they might get AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, which would be fucking fan Debbie Dozy. But I didn't want Ambrose to lose that title. I don't think many people did, to be honest. Not happy about it. A little bit pissed off about it. But this could be a swerve. This could be a swerve. Because now that he's lost the Intercontinental Championship, this could possibly be, the perfect opportunity for him to really go after that world title now. Because if there's anyone who deserves a world championship, it's Dean Ambrose. I'm sorry. Fuck Roman Reigns. I've got no problem seeing Brock Lesnar fight Triple H. But Dean Ambrose probably deserves this more out of the three. That's just my opinion on that. All in all, we may very get what we want. And the other thing that pissed me off about this match is the fact that Tyler Breeze took the fall. Triple H, you need to save him. You need to bring him back to NXT and just save him quick. That's all I'm saying on that. WWE Tag Team Champion Big E got a little bit of revenge on Mark Henry for what happened last week, because Mark Henry walked out on New Day during their match with the Dudleys and the Usos. And, yeah, that was an okay match. That was whatever. That was like a whatever match. Big E got the win. I think Mark Henry might have injured himself. Divas champion confronted Brie Bella. Basically stirred the pot a little bit and crashed the party. And Brie Bella went Daniel Bryan on her ass. Basically. Yeah. I mean, I've made my feelings clear about this situation with Charlotte, man. This situation with Charlotte and Daddy being a manager is bogus, in my opinion. And Charlotte's gone from a great champion to someone who just spends more time, acting like a father. Because that's what she's doing, and it's not a good look for her at all. It's just making her look stupid, and it's making Ric Flair look stupid, quite frankly. Not that Ric Flair needs any help lately, looking stupid, but it's a shame. It really is a shame. And if Brie doesn't win the title this Sunday at Fastlane, which I'll be watching, ladies and gentlemen, I might do a podcast on it. I don't know. I might do another podcast again like I did at the Royal Rumble match because it was successful. Over 2,000 views on that one, but I might do another one. We shall see. Yeah. AJ Styles versus The Miz. Now, don't misunderstand me because, this is The Miz we're talking about here. Wrestling AJ Styles. This was actually a good match. A good match for what it was, in my opinion. Chris Jericho was at ringside. AJ eventually got the win. No, he did not knock more teeth out from The Miz. And Chris Jericho, AJ saved Chris a job, basically, and challenged him to another match for Fastlane. But Chris denied it and said he'll think about it and let him know on Smackdown. Bit of mind games. But it's going to happen. It has to happen. The one each in this little series that they're doing. So that's going to have to, people are going to have to see it again. 3-on-1, who is really the best? I believe, no offense to Chris Jericho, I believe it's AJ Styles because let's face it, Chris is there to put AJ Styles over. It's just my opinion. Another bullshit about Raw, and believe me, there was many of them, was Summer Rae beating former Divas champion Paige. Whose idea was that? Summer Rae, a woman who hasn't done jack shit since ending her relationship, managership, whatever the fuck it was, with Tyler Breeze. Boy, was that a mistake. And now she comes in, has a first proper match in a while on Raw, and beats Paige. Okay. Sorry, but to me, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make one iota of sense at all. What has she done for people lately? Nothing. It just makes no iota sense whatsoever. Summer Rae beat Paige. Yeah. Did I miss? I seriously must have missed something there. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Roman Reigns confronted Paul Heyman, and basically Paul Heyman told Roman Reigns a few home truths, which Reigns loved, quite frankly, because it made him realize how much he wanted the WWE Championship even more. And to be honest with you, this should have been the last spot of the show. I'll get to the reason why later, or in a bit. But yeah, this was great. Paul Heyman being Paul Heyman. And Roman Reigns, has a choice now. Friendship or daughter. And then as Paul Heyman went away, the Dudley Boys attacked. I mean, they came out earlier on and tried to explain why they jumped the Usos last week. And they said there's going to be no more tables. The tables are now basically dead. And then they jumped Roman Reigns. And then Dean Ambrose came down to save the day. And as Roman Reigns turned around, he nearly walked right into Dirty Deeds. Maybe Paul Heyman was right on that situation. But that little fiasco with Roman Reigns and the Dudleys sets up a match between the Dudleys versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose this coming SmackDown, which should be very interesting. I'd watch SmackDown to see that match myself, to be honest. There's a few matches that are going to be on SmackDown that I'd see. Even Edge and Christian return this week as well to Fastline, and the New Day are going to be there. More on that later. And also Brock Lesnar returns to SmackDown in, I believe it's 12 years. So SmackDown this week's shaping up. And you know what? I may very well watch it. I've been watching it as of late, but I may very well watch it again. Zack Ryder jobs out to Heath Slater thanks to the Social Outcasts. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll move on. I'm not a big fan of the Social Outcasts. I made my feelings crystal clear. Rusev, Alberto Del Rio, and Sheamus took on the Lucha Dragons and Neville, which they won. Excuse me. Despite the fact that Wade Barrett's supposed to be injured, from what I've been told, he was dressed to wrestle. If he wasn't wrestling, why was he dressed to wrestle? That makes no iota of sense whatsoever. Oh, yeah, he's not wrestling in this match. It's Sheamus, Rusev, and Alberto Del Rio. So let's dress him up to wrestle. He can be a manager. Makes no sense. But Alberto got the victory over, or made a statement. And he has a little bit now momentum going into the Fastlane kickoff show where he will challenge Kalisto for the US title. Yes, you heard me, ladies and gentlemen. Fastlane kickoff. GG WWE, GG. Fuck's sake. Fastlane kickoff show for the US title. All titles, in my opinion, should be on the main show. That's all I'm saying. I'll say a bit more about that in a minute. Thanks to a confrontation earlier on, Becky Lynch got a little bit of revenge against Naomi. Tamina attacks, and then Sasha Banks comes out and gets the victory and chases him away, which was very hard to do considering Becky took a Samoan drop from Tamina while Sasha Banks was walking down the ringside, or walking around ringside before she eventually got in. You work it out. The interesting thing is this tag team match is shaping up, and question is, can Sasha and Becky coexist? And can Naomi and Tamina defeat two members of the Four Horsewomen? We'll have to wait and see. It should be an interesting tag match, though. Now for the bullshit. And the reason why I say bullshit, ladies and gentlemen, because if you've seen the fan reaction to this from NoDQ.com, Aaron Rift, he posted a video up of it on YouTube yesterday. I will put the link in the description below of the ending, if you will. The fans reacting to the main event. And it was funny. and I'll put the link in the description below once I've set this all up. The main event was Braun Strowman versus Big Show. Why? It was the most horrible main event I've seen ever. Not only that, it was the most horrible main event I have probably seen in Raw's history. And if this got higher, as far as ratings go, if this segment got higher than a 2, holy shit, you know? I must have missed something. Because I can pretty much guarantee you this got a 1 rating. No one liked this. Braun Strowman, Big Show. This match was scheduled, I read, supposedly supposed to be at Fastlane. From what I got, this match was supposed to be on at Fastlane. The only good thing about it was Kane returned, came back and fought the Wyatts. Ryback came out to help him. The match didn't last more than 10 minutes. It was fucking poor. And this had no business being the main event. This could have been, what you could have done was replaced this match with the Paul Heyman segment with Roman Reigns and swap them two around. Because I can guarantee you, the Paul Heyman segment with Roman Reigns would probably have got a higher rating and a better rating than this segment. And the other thing that scares me, guys, is the other thing that scares me and scares the shit out of me is considering John Cena is out, supposedly out until after WrestleMania, even though there's rumors of him coming back early before WrestleMania. And quite frankly, I'm praying that happens because it's clear as day. And I agree with a comment that was left in the video of the reaction for the end of this match from NoDQ.com. Again, I'll put that in the description below. Nobody wants to see Braun Strowman versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. Okay? Deep down, nobody wants to see that. I don't. It might have to happen, but I don't, quite frankly. I want to see, out of the two matches, Braun Strowman versus Undertaker, John Cena versus Undertaker, I'd rather see John Cena versus Undertaker. I know I'll probably get some stick for that because John Cena, you know. But I'd rather see John Cena versus fucking Undertaker. This was the worst main event in Raw history. Quite frankly, I refuse to even call it a main event. It was crap. And this is what spoiled the whole Raw. Because I'll admit, it started off well. Kevin Owens wins the Intercontinental Championship. Yes, there was a bit of bullshit there because Dean Ambrose shouldn't have lost. But it was great. You know, I've got no issues with Kevin Owens getting his title back because we might now see what everybody's been pulling for, and that's Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. But I would rather have seen Dean Ambrose still be Intercontinental Champion. You know, and what people wanted to see, you know, Dean Ambrose have a long title run with the Intercontinental title is now over. But Braun Strowman versus Big Show was the worst main event. And considering the outcry from this and from what I got from this, I mean, I had to watch it again just to make sure that I wasn't hallucinating. Holy shit. And considering what I got from this, like I said, the Braun Strowman Undertaker match at WrestleMania scares the shit out of me. And the reason why people don't want to see it is because, well, in my opinion, they might think it's another Undertaker Giant Gonzalez match. And also, this is not going to be Undertaker's last WrestleMania because if he has to face Braun Strowman, people don't want to see him go out like that. You know, if Braun Strowman Undertaker match happens, this could possibly be the worst match Undertaker will ever have at WrestleMania. The worst. In my opinion, his best match at WrestleMania, and this is taking nothing away from Shawn Michaels, Triple H, in my opinion, but his best match at WrestleMania was against CM Punk, in my opinion. Okay? Yes, there was a case for Shawn Michaels at 25. I'm not denying that. I'm not taking anything away from that. But in terms of almost beating The Undertaker and the way it was, I believe CM Punk was the best one for The Undertaker by none. This, however, Braun Strowman versus Undertaker could possibly be the worst match The Undertaker will ever have in his life. And it sucks. And that's the reason why he's going to come back next year, should this go away. Should this go through, rather. Because nobody wants to see... I don't want to see The Undertaker end his illustrious career with a match against Braun Strowman. I don't want to see that. He deserves better than that. He deserves 10 times better than that. It makes me sick that was Braun Strowman defeats Big Show defeats Braun Strowman via disqualification. Bullshit. Complete bull. Disgusting way to end Raw, in my opinion. Disgusting. And you know what? And that's me speaking as a fan, because I've been a fan of WWE for many years. I have never seen anything so crap in all my life watching Raw. And if that gets a higher rating, higher than a 2 at least, I'll be fucking amazed. I really would. Like I said, they could have swapped this around with the Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman segment, because I guarantee you that would have got a better rating and a better ending. And plus, that should have been there, because that was what the main talking point for Fastlane is about. The World Championship. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar. And that would have set that whole thing up perfectly. And this is what this is supposed to go into Fastlane or go into a pay-per-view. It's supposed to build towards that pay-per-view. You know, just go straight forward. It didn't for me. And I'm giving Raw out of 10 and out of 5. Out of 5, I'm giving it 1.5. Out of 10, I'm giving it a 2. Yes, there was a lot of good things on Raw as well. Don't get me wrong, there was. But Raw was mainly full of bullshit. Bullshit. And I'm giving it a 2. Out of 10, 1.5 out of 5. Okay. You might disagree with that, and that's your jurisdiction. That's your opinion. Everybody has an opinion about the wrestling business, like I've said. But this Raw, to me, was awful. And this was supposed to be a go-out show towards Fastlane. It didn't deliver at all. And it, quite frankly, speaking as a fan, disgusts me. And WWE need to, really pull their weight and quick. Because that was bad. Not the sound I came out with South Park, but that was bad. Absolutely bad. Now for the 5 matches predictions for Raw, for Fastlane, plus a potential match we'll find out the answer to on SmackDown. I might as well kick it off with the pre-show. Alberto Del Rio challenges Kalisto for the US title. I'm going with Kalisto. Please end this. WWE, this has to end at Fastlane. Excuse me. Drinking man for the working man. And yes, that's a dentist thing, by the way, the straw. It might look stupid, but it's a dentist thing. Before you bust my balls on it. But anyway, Kalisto needs to win this title and have a good run with it, quite frankly, because this thing with Alberto Del Rio now and Kalisto is driving me up the wall. This is Kalisto, Alberto Del Rio round 4, and it needs to end at Fastlane. The fact that it's on the pre-show is bullshit. It needs to be on the main show. But hey, this is WWE for you. They'll do anything to get you to draw or to get you to buy the pay-per-view, or buy the WWE network just to see it. I know, it's 2 out of 3 falls. So I believe Kalisto will win this. I would say 2-1. I think Kalisto will win it 2-1 at the most. I can't see them I can't see them, as much as I want to, I can't see them having Kalisto win 2 straight falls. I can't see that happening. So I think Kalisto will retain, and it'll be 2-1. Intercontinental Champion, newly won Intercontinental title, Kevin Owens defends against Dolph Ziggler. I think Kevin Owens will retain, although I won't be disappointed if they put the belt on Dolph Ziggler. But I'm kind of hoping they go with this match now that Kevin Owens is the champion. Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. That's what I'm pulling for. I think that's what everybody else is pulling for. Everybody I talk to anyway. So I believe Kevin Owens will retain. It'll be a hell of a match because these guys have had great matches on Raw, so this will be no different at Fastlane, in my opinion. And I think Kevin Owens will somehow retain the Intercontinental Championship. Again, if Dolph wins, I won't be disappointed. The tag match, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks against two members of Team Bad. I believe Becky Lynch and Sasha will eventually somehow win the tag match, and then go on to WrestleMania to face the winner of the Divas match, which is Charlotte, because I don't think Brie will win it. I won't be surprised if she does because of this whole Daniel Bryan thing, but the talk of going into WrestleMania is Charlotte defending the championship against Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch in a triple threat match. That's right. 3 members of the 4 Horsewomen headlining WrestleMania for the Divas title. That's what it's supposedly going to be. So Becky Lynch and Sasha to win the Divas match, the Divas tag match, and Charlotte to retain the women's title. But if Brie wins it, don't be surprised. The main event, which is the triple threat match, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar. I want to see Brock win it. I just want to see Brock and Triple H again at WrestleMania. If Dean Ambrose wins this, I will mark out, because the thought of him winning this match and going on to WrestleMania to beat Triple H, because we all know Triple H will lose the championship at WrestleMania. However, if Triple H retains it, maybe he's saving it, because I want to see Triple H as world champion defending against Seth Rollins. I'll be okay with that. I'll be definitely okay with that. But I know it's not going to happen. So Roman Reigns will win this match. He will go on to WrestleMania and be the champion. But I'm kind of predicting a swerve in this as well, because Dean Ambrose is now no longer the Intercontinental Champion. Brock Lesnar is looking to get his title back. And, you know, I think WWE might have threw a swerve at this. But I'm predicting that Roman Reigns will win. Anyone with a brain could see Roman Reigns is going to win from a mile away. I just hope they do a swerve, quite frankly. Because if Dean Ambrose wins the match and goes on to WrestleMania to win the title, I will fucking mark out more than when he won the Intercontinental title. I will mark out more than when he won it. And I hope he does win it, to be honest. But I know Roman Reigns is going to win this no matter what. And despite the fact that it hasn't been confirmed yet, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho, it will probably get confirmed on SmackDown. AJ Styles will win the match. And it'll be 2-1 in this little series that him and Chris Jericho will do. And it'll be an epic match. And quite frankly, I predict that that match will steal the show, should it be confirmed this week on SmackDown. But AJ Styles will win that match. This will be his full pay-per-view debut. He made his Royal Rumble debut in the Royal Rumble match. So this will be his first match on pay-per-view, and I can't see him winning it. I can't see him losing it, rather. It would be stupid for him to lose it. So AJ Styles will win the match should it be confirmed this week on SmackDown. And I'll probably guess it will be. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this video. Again, sorry it was a little bit late, but I've had a nightmare today. I hope you've enjoyed this nonetheless. Stay tuned this Thursday to watch my ICW Friday Night Fight Club Season 2, Episode 8 and 9 reviews. They're taking place this Thursday, so be sure to check them out. This coming Thursday, and then I've got another one scheduled for Friday night at 11 o'clock UK time. Big Time American Wrestling Friday night, 19th of February. Review, thoughts, and highlights. It's supposedly be the thoughts and highlights. It's supposedly going to be taking place Friday nights on the 11th, 11 o'clock. But I don't know if it's going to be happening, to be honest with you. I don't know if I can guarantee that I'm going to be getting in at that point. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Like I say, I doubt it that it's going to happen. But if it doesn't happen, it will happen again on Saturday. It's scheduled for Friday at 11 o'clock UK time. But if I don't do it on Friday, I can promise you it's going to be on the 20th as well. So if it's not on Friday, it'll be on Saturday. Because I don't know if I'm going to be back in time for it, to be honest with you. And I might be doing other things that night as well. So I don't know if I'll be able to. I will be taking notes at the show to review it for you. So tune in for that. If it's not going to be on Friday, it'll be definitely on Saturday. I will be doing it at some point. Okay, Friday or Saturday, it's going to be done. So look out for it. It's going to be there. It's going to be taking place. And I might play the audio on the podcast this coming week, which is episode 99. Yes, I'm one away from 100, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit. 2 years of hard work is paying off, let me tell you. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you've enjoyed this video. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the Wrestling Matters channel for future content. If you're new around here, it would be greatly appreciated. I try and bring you guys the best in professional wrestling, the best that I can. And hopefully you guys will be entertained and enjoyed by it. And check out the new episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Episode 98 is already up. It's on this channel. And like I say, guys, the only way you get to see stuff like that, podcast, wrestling content, wrestling discussions, WWE 2K16 stuff. There is some WWE 2K16 stuff coming up this week. So the only way you'll get to see that is if you subscribe to the Wrestling Matters channel. And the only way you can do that is hit the subscribe button below. Also, check out my Games Matter channel as well, youtube.com/Games Matter channel, where I'll be live streaming on there. Not as, just as much as I do on here. I'll be live streaming on there as well. So be sure to check that out. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it was worth the wait. Again, apologize it for being late because I've had a nightmare. And I've had a nightmare of a day. And yeah, until next time, guys, peace out. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter @WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you've enjoyed that Raw and Fastline predictions there. Audio. Now we get on to Smackdown. Let's just get right into it, guys. Let's not waste any time. Smackdown this week. Wow, I think I made a word up there. Anyway, Smackdown this week. If this thing would stop popping up on the website, I would greatly appreciate it. Fucking retard. It started off with the League of Nations, Alberto Del Rio, Rusev, and Sheamus beating Dolph Ziggler and the Lucha Dragons. Sasha Banks beats Tamina, preparing for their match at Fastline, tag match. Jericho beats The Miz. The New Day previewed their victory pose, mocking Edge and Christian. Divas champion Charlotte beats the original Diva, quite frankly, or what should have been the original Diva, Natalya. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose beat the Dudley Boys by DQ, and Brock Lesnar strikes. and I'll go through it right now. At the height of Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose's brutal battle against the Dudley Boys, courtesy of what happened on Raw, Brock Lesnar arrived on SmackDown stage for the first time in 12 years. The Beast Incarnate appearance on Thursday night's hardest show quickly sent the main event into chaos as the three superstars in the Fastline #1 contenders match broke out into a brawl. The Lunatic Fringe and the Big Dog began their fight. United, but things quickly unraveled after the black-clad superstar missed a spear on the Beast and nearly landed a devastating maneuver on his former Shield brethren. In response, Ambrose tries to hit Dirty Deeds on Reigns, only to have it reversed into a Samoan drop. The implosion between brothers allowed Brock Lesnar to pounce, delivering a huge F5 onto the powerhouse superstar. WWE World Heavyweight Champion Triple H then appeared on stage, sporting not only the coveted championship, but also an almost approving glare as he surveyed the sea of carnage left from the preceding free-for-all. Who will the King of Kings put his title on the line against at the 32nd annual WrestleMania? So we have to find out. I guess we all found out at Fastlane, didn't we? But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much all I could say on that in terms of SmackDown. Now we'll jump over quickly to NXT. Let's see what went down on NXT this week. Let's go to the full results. It ended with a double pin leads to controversy. Who is the #1 contender for the NXT Championship belt? Sami Zayn or Samoa Joe? It wasn't very approving, if you will. American Alpha, Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore beat Dash, Dawson, Blake and Murphy in the first match of the evening. Asuka wins her match against Iona. I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I apologise. I'll drop down. Todd Dillinger beats Alex Riley, and then it was the main event. After the #1 contenders triple threat match ended in controversy when Zayn and Joe both had submission hold on Baron Corbin, as the Lone Wolf tapped out, both men believed they should be next in line to challenge Finn Balor. NXT General Manager William Regal decided the only fair way to settle this dispute was a one-on-one match between the two. Both men took their time feeling each other out through the crowd at the University of Central Florida. Was firmly in Zayn's corner. Samoa Joe used his size strength advantage to gain the upper hand. However, Zayn was never close to giving up or giving in, using momentum to his advantage and sending Joe to the floor to get himself a reprieve, but for every offense maneuver Zayn landed, Joe was ready with a brutal counter. It looked as though Samoa Joe had Zayn on the ropes after pummeling him with a series of strikes, but the resilience Zayn refused to give in, fighting back and landing the Blue Thunder Bomb on the 280-pounder. With a massive opportunity at stake, neither of the worn-down competitors are willing to budge. Joe went back on strikes and Zayn answered with a fury of his own. The former NXT champion was saved by the ropes when Joe locked the Kikita clutch, and he then slipped out of the muscle buster before connecting with the kick, the Yakuza kick. After a grueling battle reached its apex, both superstars were in the pin, both pinned each other. Zayn was on top of Joe, but his shoulders were on the mat, and that left Regal with another decision to make. Who is the #1 contender for the NXT Championship? Is a triple threat in store? Guess we'll have to wait and see. But that is the end of the SmackDown and NXT review or talking points. I'll be back right after this with Ring of Honor, so stay tuned.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Hughes.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you've enjoyed the podcast so far. Enjoyed the show. I don't know what the hell I'm saying anymore sometimes. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed the podcast. Hope you enjoyed the show so far. Like I said, guys, one penultimate show away. This is the penultimate show before the 100th episode. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Ring of Honor, because we've missed a lot. I watched it this past week. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'll go into too much detail about it. But I did watch it this past week. Silas Young and Bruiser, and the Beer Bruiser, that tag team partner he's hanging around with, since he and Dalton Castle seem to be over, although Dalton did interfere in the match to give Will Ferrara and Caprice Coleman the victory in that tag match. Leo Rush, I believe his name is, won his top prospect first round tournament match. I believe it's the semi-finals. I believe the semi-finals are on their way in the top prospect tournament, 2016 that is. And Mark Briscoe was also in action as well. He won his match. But the two main talking points that I want to talk about, one is the main event, but two is this little situation with one Steve Corino and one BJ Whitmer. Now, BJ Whitmer, for months and months and months on end, has been basically pushing the buttons, pulling the strings of one Steve Corino. And the last time I remember these two being in the same ring together, Steve Corino risked his announcing job, put his announcing job on the line, and basically, if I remember correctly, basically smacked BJ Whitmer right in the face with a fistful of coins. Took the risk, took the opportunity to do that. Smacked him right in the face, laid him out on the floor, which questioned when or not Steve Corino was going to be around anymore. Now, for the past maybe a month or two, maybe a couple of weeks, that I've seen Ring of Honor, Steve Corino came out just as Mr. Wrestling. It seems that farce is over, because Steve Corino came out this past week, and apparently had something for BJ Whitmer. Somebody apparently called him, and went up to him, and said that he wants to fight. He's had about enough of BJ Whitmer, and said he will fight fight BJ Whitmer on Steve Corino's behalf. It seems, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Corino had a little surprise in store for BJ. BJ out there running his mouth with Adam Page at the side. Corino comes out and says when the time is right, he will fight BJ Whitmer, because he just recovered from neck surgery, and he's recovering from neck surgery, and when the time is right, there will be a match between him and BJ Whitmer somewhere down the road. But it seems that, as far as mind games are concerned, Steve Corino is one step ahead, because he introduced a person who wanted to fight BJ Whitmer on his behalf, and lo and behold, it was Adam Page. Adam Page turns BJ around, they get into a little bit of a heated argument, and the next minute, a brawl ensues between Adam Page and BJ Whitmer. The fists were flying, and it seems that Adam Page is now a man and has had enough of one BJ Whitmer and his big mouth. The decade is no more, or what was left of it. Jimmy Jacobs went up to WWE, but it seems the decade is officially no more, and it seems somewhere down the road, Adam Page will get his hands on now his former mentor on Steve Corino's behalf. On to the main event, which saw ACH and Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal to you and I, and Evan Bourne to WWE fans, go in a tag match against the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, the one and only Young Bucks. Great tag match, as always. You could never expect. I think the Young Bucks could have a tag match with anybody, quite frankly, and it'd still be good. My favourite point of the match is where ACH was in control. He put his arm up in the air, like a salute kind of thing. You know, the momentum's on his side. Next minute, he gets his head kicked off, which was just great. You know, masters of the super kick, the Young Bucks. Great tag match, hard-hitting, fast-paced tag match to end the Ring of Honor show. Bad for the time they had, which was about, say, roughly 10 minutes, including break, the commercial break that he had. But the ending was a little bit surprising, because Matt Sydal and ACH shocked people, including myself. They shocked the world by beating the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions in the center of the ring. Evan Bourne gets the victory for his team. Matt Sydal, that is. You know, Matt Sydal getting the victory. Reborn Matt Sydal, of course. Questions now, will Matt Sydal and ACH get a tag title shot? You know, Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title shot. Questions are wondering. And it seems that these two teams will meet again at the 14th anniversary, because they'll be both part of a 6-man tag and the Young Bucks tag team partner will be Kenny Omega. And I think ACH and Matt Sydal's tag partner will be the guy that everybody expected Kenny to go after and call out after they turned on AJ Styles. Should be interesting though. And also, the 14th anniversary show is headlined by the Ring of Honor World Championship match. Triple threat rules, of course. Jay Lethal, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly for the World Championship. But all in all, it's nice to have Ring of Honor back on the podcast. Probably, they might not be back on next week. But, yeah, it's good to have it back. I've kind of missed Ring of Honor. I've got a lot to catch up for, but no doubt I will catch up ASAP. And that about wraps up this part of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back right after this with more on the Wrestling Matters podcast, so stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast, and I suppose I'll talk about TNA. TNA kicked off with King of the Mountain Championship, Eric Young versus James Storm, which was a draw, but Big Money vowed to beat the hell out of Bram and Eric Young next week in the cage. Lockdown next week. Mike Bennett beats Mandrews in a brutal Monsters Ball match, which saw the TNA Tag Team titles on the line with Monsters Ball rules. The Wolves beat the Decay to retain the titles. Madison Rayne and Gail Kim beat the Dollhouse, but next week it's going to be Madison Rayne, Gail Kim, and Velvet Sky against the Dollhouse in Lethal Lockdown. That should be interesting, I guess. Or whatever the hell you pronounce that. And the great Mahal Bishira beat Eli Drake and Jesse Goodhouse. Now there was a catch. That O-Dog, it's Grado. Yeah, O-Dog the Great is Grado. Now Grado lost the contract, yada yada yada. I think he's doing a Christopher Daniels impersonation. But apparently a couple of weeks ago he came out and tried to prove that he shouldn't have been fired. So I think there's a feud going on between him and Eli Drake. So whatever match Eli Drake got, he probably should have got as well, but he didn't. So yes, Grado is still in TNA, except he's doing a very bad impersonation of Christopher Daniels. You know, Grado or Drag the Great. Christopher Daniels did this back in the day. He went from Christopher Daniels, whatever you want to call him, to doing Curryman. Yeah, he brought the Curryman gimmick over a long time ago. And EC3 came out. Tyrus and Matt Hardy came out at the beginning of the show and challenged him to a tag match and tried to go for the fort of Matt Hardy and EC3. Matt Hardy and Tyrus in a 2-on-1 because no one would want to team up with EC3. So EC3 decided to go on alone, but Rockstar Spud stepped up to the plate and became EC3's tag team partner, and I love Rockstar Spud. I'll tell you why later on. So EC3 manages to get the 1% on Matt Hardy and win the tag match. If he does that next week, he'll become TNA World Heavyweight Champion as well. And that about wraps that up for TNA. Now, I'm going to play an audio now. I'm going to play an audio of ICW. ICW, Friday Night Fight Club, Season 2, Episode 8 and 9 audio that I did this past week. I'm going to play that. Then we're going to go to a commercial, quick break. Then I'll be back, and I'm going to play the audio from the Big Time Wrestling show that I went to this past week. This past Friday, in fact. So, be sure to check that out, and I'll be back for the final part. So enjoy the ICW audio and enjoy the Big Time Wrestling audio, which will take place after the break. And then after that break, I'll be back with a few thank yous and a few promotions. So stay tuned. Welcome one, welcome all to this special video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this is ICW video, and as you can see on my t-shirt, this is what we're going to be talking about today. Those three letters, ICW. My name is Anthony Walker. We're going to talk today and review ICW's Friday Night Fight Club. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. ICW's Friday Night Fight Club, Season 2, Episode 8 and 9 today. Now, because the reason why we're going to do this today, because we didn't have, at least I didn't have, even though I did mention them on my podcast, I would normally have done this on my podcast, or for my podcast, but the past 2 weeks, episode 97 and 98, we were doing a very special show involving guests. I had Max Wrestling on, and I had Evan McCabe and Roxanne Woolhouse from, Evan McCabe from his podcast, as well as Max Wrestling, as well as the beautiful Roxanne from Offshoot Radio and Roxy's Room too. Check that out. But today, so I thought I'd bring you today. I was going to have done episode 8 last week, but I didn't have time. So I thought I'll bring you both of them today. I've watched them both. And then when episode 10 comes out, I would imagine, tomorrow on ICW's on-demand service, I'll bring you that on my podcast, episode 99, this coming Monday. So, where do I begin? Episode 8 of ICW's Friday Night Fight Club. Oh boy. Kicked off with a women's championship match involving Carmel Jacob and Sami Jane, who was the number 2 to Nikki Storm. These two girls had a great match, man. I mean, the highlight of the match was Sami Jane's slingshot neckbreaker from the outside in on Carmel, which I thought was great, to be honest. And then Carmel eventually ends up spearing Sami in midair to retain the title. We all knew Nikki Storm's sidekick was not going to win. It was just obvious. But yeah, it was a good match nonetheless. The second match, I don't know what to make of it, to be honest with you. It was supposed to be a 3-way match between Zach Gibson, Jack Jester, and Lewis Garvin. Lewis Garvin comes out wearing a Black Label t-shirt. Although Red Lightning comes out and tells him he's not in the Black Label. So Red then abuses his power and said that Jack has got the night off because he was ill. And him and Red Lightning, Jack Jester and Red Lightning, that is, sit on the stage steps while they watch Zach Gibson go one-on-one with Lewis Garvin. And it was actually a great match, but it was spoilt in a way because Jack Jester came in and took the victory. So it was still a 3-way match, but it ended up being one-on-one for most of the match, and Jester came in and picked up the pieces. It was just ridiculous, to be honest. Joe Coffey had a great match as well against Andrew Wild, better known as Andy Wild, former Zero G champion. And, whoa, I fluffed my chair there. And it was great. A great wrestling, good old-fashioned British World of Sport style wrestling match, which Joe eventually ended up winning. Yeah, it was just a great hold for hold, move for move, solid wrestling match, basically. And like I said, Joe gets the win. End of the first show was the 55 tag team champions against the Tall family, which was just dominated by the 55, basically. It was just Kid Fight and Shah Samuels, the ICW World Tag Team Champions, or ICW Tag Team Champions, even though they're looking to get the tag team titles to be World Tag Team Champions. But, yeah, it was just basically the Tall family. They couldn't get along, and the 55 dominated the match and got the victory at the end. It was just a dominated victory by the 55. Now, for the main story of this episode. Chris Renfrew, yes, he is now the ICW Heavyweight Champion of the world. Beats Grado at the Square Go. Now, came out and Red Lightning's in the ring. He apparently has accomplished his goal, and that was to get rid of Grado as champion, and he did that. And it happened. Grado is no longer now the World Heavyweight Champion of ICW. Chris Renfrew is. And now Red has acquired this plan to get Chris to be on his side, and the NAK as well. And the sucking up began. That was until Mark Dallas interrupted. Mark Dallas came out, basically tried to pull Red Lightning's punk card and called him out. And Red says that he has no friends, Dallas that is. He has no friends left. And he's the owner of ICW, the majority owner, whatever you want to call it. And while that was going on, Chris Renfrew's in the background, opening his shirt, the little shirt that he had on, and opens it, takes the shirt off, and on his chest it says, "I am a Mark Dallas guy." Sets everything up. Red Lightning turns around and receives the Stone Cold Stunner. Dallas convinces the evil guy from the NAK to join forces with him. Now, that Renfrew turned his back on him before, but now they see they've joined together for one common goal, because they both can agree that Red Lightning is a total fucking wanker, and they want him out. And it ended with, the show ended with Sweeney and Chris Toll escorting Mark Dallas out of the building, and Sweeney throws him in the back of his car and drives off with him. Where to? I don't know. But Red Lightning's dream turned basically into a nightmare, and Mark Dallas, in a way, took back what is rightfully his, ICW. But we all know this is not over yet. Episode 9 kicked off with a match that took place 2 weeks ago, which saw Kenny Williams beat BT Gunn. Although this time BT got his revenge, and it was just a basically carbon copy of what was 2 weeks ago. The only thing is BT ended up winning this time. That same move, that slingshot code breaker that Williams used to beat BT the first time around, BT countered it and rolled him up and got the victory. But all in all, it was a great match. They brawled all the way around the ring, hard-hitting match, hold for hold, kick for kick, super kick after super kick. It was just good stuff, good to watch. And it's indescribable, and this is why you have to go and see it. Go and watch the show, because it was great. It's a great match. And there will be a third match, just a case of when. And after the match, the beautiful Jennifer Louise tries to get a word with BT. Lionheart comes in with Liam Thompson. They attack Kenny, and BT saves him. Respect that. Polo Lounge. Polo Promotions basically mocked the 55 and the Black Labels Drew Galloway. DCT comes out dressed as Bram. Mark Coffey comes out dressed as Drew Galloway. And Mark Dallas comes out dressed as Red Lightning. And then Polo calls out every tag team around the world and says he plans on making, him and Polo Promotions plan on making the ICW Tag Team Championships the ICW World Tag Team Championships, which is A-OK. I mean, they've made the ICW World title, so it's not surprising that they're aiming to make the ICW World Tag Team titles. It's not surprising whatsoever. Local Fire, Joe Henry and Davey Blaze against Liam Thompson and Lionheart. And I'm going to put a video in the description below of these two basically, and I say these two, Joe Henry and Davey Blaze, basically just taking the piss out of Liam Thompson and Lionheart. And you have to see the video below in the description. I'm going to put it in the description below of the mockery that they did. The entrance and then the Lionheart is a funny moment. All will be revealed below. I don't need to tell you what it was about. There's a video below of it, a clip from ICW's YouTube page. Check it out. It explains it all. Two great tag teams, though. I think it's the first time that Local Fire tag team together. They actually did a good job, and they got the victory. Lionheart and Liam Thompson would probably be in the experience of the two, even though they've never tag teamed before. But out of the, experience-wise, because they were the original ICW members, and Local Fire did a good job, man. And Local Fire got the victory. Henry basically challenges, when the time is right, challenges Davey Blaze for a 0G title shot, but then calls out a TNA superstar, which is making his debut March 6th. Mr. Anderson. For those of you that don't know, March 6th, Mr. Anderson will make his ICW debut, and it looks like he's going to go one-on-one with Joe Henry. So, should be very interesting. Very interesting. And it should be very interesting the fact that that Mr. Anderson is making his debut in ICW. Anyway. Where to now? A great match involving Noam Dar and the Square Goal winner, yes, Wolfgang, sees Wolfgang using the brass knucks to get the victory over Noam Dar. Be interesting to see where that goes, because the leader of the group, of the NAK group, Chris Renfrew's the actual champion. Will Wolfgang able to be the champion going into there? Will he cash it in on Chris Renfrew? Stranger things have happened in the world of professional wrestling, especially in ICW. But will he have the guts to do that? Because we don't Chris Renfrew stands, or when any NAK stands with the Chris Renfrew Mark Dallas situation. Is it going to be, have they joined forces? We know Chris Renfrew and Mark Dallas have joined forces, but was the NAK joining this little group thing? It's an interesting dynamic. And Joe Coffey just shoots an ICW, the status of ICW, pick a side, Mark Dallas or Red Lightning status, and calls out the world champion because he won the Wrestler of the Year again in ICW as far as the Bobby Awards. And he wins the Wrestler of the Year and calls out the world champion for Baromania again, should he get his wish like they did last time, because last year he won it and he got Drew Galloway at Baromania. So, will it be the same again? Who knows? And who will be the world champion going into Baromania, which I believe is in March. Speaking of the world champion, Chris Renfrew had to defend the championship against Mikey Whiplash. And all I'm going to say here, guys, you need to watch this match yourselves. This is where you should subscribe to the ICW on-demand service, because this match wasn't a wrestling match. It was just a full-blown fight. Last episode, Mikey Whiplash, heel promo on the crowd and everything when he won Feud of the Year, Bammy Award with him and BT Gunn. And this was just a straight-up fight. Weapons, everything was involved. And eventually it's seen Chris Renfrew versus Mikey Whipwreck, and Chris Renfrew retaining the title to still be ICW heavyweight champion of the world. You've got to see this match yourself. It was just a fight all over the ring. I mean, you knew it wouldn't be a wrestling match anyway, because, I mean, you got the leader of the NAK, and you've got a member of Legion, and last year's Fear and Loathing 8, NAK and Legion, who won Match of the Year as well, by the way, in ICW. The cage match they had at Fear and Loathing, when they basically nearly just fucking killed each other, and sees NAK win the match. It was just incredible. A credible way to end episode 9 of the Friday Night Fight Club. Just a straight up fight, which eventually saw Chris Renfrew retain the championship. And it was just an amazing fight. It wasn't a wrestling match. It was a fight, straight up fight. And Chris, like I said, retained the title. This coming week on the Wrestling Matters podcast, I will be reviewing episode 10. Everything's back to normal this week on the Wrestling Matters podcast. That about wraps this video up, guys. I'm going to give both the shows 10 out of 10. This spot on. And like I said, I'll be reviewing episode 10 this coming week on the podcast. Yes, for 1 week only, we're back to normal this week. It's back to normal this week for 1 week only. And knock on wood, next in 2 weeks on the 29th, I'm going to be cutting a promo on the 100th episode. I'm basically just going to shoot. It's going to be nothing big. I'm just basically going to shoot. And the only way you'll get to hear that promo, it's not a scripted promo. It's just from the heart. Everything I've done from April 7th, 2014 to get from there to where I am right now. If you want to hear that promo, just tune into the podcast. It's on SoundCloud. Soon to be on Podbean as well, and Stitcher Radio and iTunes. The websites as well, check them out, and youtube.com as well. AJW Wrestling Matters, this very YouTube page that you're on. And that's why you should always subscribe to this channel for weekly podcasts, reviews. I've got a review coming this Sunday as well for the Fastline show. Fastline. And hopefully by the time WrestleMania comes around, I'll have a webcam and I'll be able to do a live reaction for the WrestleMania show as well. You can see my live reactions. I will sit down. I will chill out with you guys on the live stream, and hopefully, we'll get a good reaction stream out of it. I've seen Tyrone Magnus do this as well. So it should be interesting. We have to wait and see on that one, though. But, yeah, ICW is the place to be, ladies and gentlemen. It's the company to watch, because let's face it, you get a better chance of watching great wrestling than you do on Monday Night Raw every Monday, as we found out this past week. Still can't get over that Braun Strowman Big Show main event. But anyway, check ICW out. All the links to any ICW links I will put in the description below. Check out their YouTube page. I guess they'll have the information how to sign up for the on-demand service. You gotta sign up for the on-demand service because it is the fucking shit. And it is just a great promotion. It is one of my favorite promotions around, as you can probably tell by the t-shirt. Yes, I'm an ICW fan, and I'm fucking proud of it. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Walker, the Wrestling Matters channel. Subscribe to the channel for future wrestling content and weekly podcasts as well, episodes. Like I say, episode 99 is this week. Check out the 98th episode as well. It is on there. It is on the channel. The only way you'll get to see all this great wrestling stuff that I'm bringing to you via YouTube is if you subscribe to the channel. It's a weekly show, the podcast. It's weekly stuff on the channel. But who knows? It depends what I've got for you. It could be weekly, maybe a few daily things. We don't know. But like I say, the only way you'll get to keep up with anything that goes on this channel is if you subscribe to the Wrestling Matters channel. My name is Anthony Walker. Have a great weekend. Check out my games channel as well, Games Matter channel, youtube.com/Games Matter channel for live streams and me live streaming great gaming content. I've got my career mode coming on that channel very, very soon. So be sure to check it out. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Enjoy the rest of the week. Wrestling Matters only on this channel. And not only does Wrestling Matters, ICW matters too. Until next time, guys, peace out. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Hey peeps, it's me, HEAD, back with you for another video. That's right. And like I said, I was going to do this yesterday. Didn't have the time, so I said I was going to do it today. Yes, I scheduled it for 10 o'clock, but I brought it forward because I've had a hard day and I'm running basically on 3 hours sleep. So, big time American wrestling presented to you by First Class Wrestling, FCW, the British Wrestling Promotion. And I went there yesterday, set off here, my house, at 5:30. Left there, arrived there for about 6:30, 20 to 7. Stayed out in the freezing cold for about 10 minutes at the most. Got inside. Show started at 7:30. And it was a pretty good show. And it kicked off with Robbie Dynamite, and Tony Spitfire. 1-on-1. Now, good old-fashioned British wrestling at its best, ladies and gentlemen, this match was, in my opinion. These two just wrestled. And I've seen it many, many times outside outside British wrestling as well, not just in FCW, but in British wrestling in general, like in ICW and that. Robbie Dynamite can have a match with anybody and make it good. Have a great match with anybody because he's that good. And he's one of the best. Tony Spitfire gave him a run for his money. But great counters, good hold-for-hold move, great mat wrestling as well. And Tony went to go for a tombstone, but Robbie countered to his tombstone, countered to his, hit the tombstone on Tony and got the victory, which in a way set the tone for the evening. Now, the next match saw Mickey Long against El Eccentrico. That's right. Eccentrico. This match was totally dominated by Mikey. Oh, yeah. Start to finish. Eccentrico tried to quicken the pace of the match, but it was mainly dominated by Mikey Long. He dominated most of the match. It wasn't as dominant as a certain match later on, which I'll get to in a second, or one-sided, if you will. But, it was a dominant match by Mikey, but El Eccentrico managed to get the victory and beat Mikey Long. The next match was the proverbial ladder match involving AJ Anderson versus Ringo Ryan. Just got my grub there. I apologize for that. AJ Anderson 1-on-1 with Ringo Ryan in a ladder match for the British title, the FCW title, whatever you want to call it. A belt that Robbie Dynamite was looking for, to be honest with you, and made a statement that night that he was asking for his match. A ladder match this was. I've seen better ladder matches in WWE, quite frankly. They did use it as a weapon. Don't get me wrong. They did use it as a weapon. But, it was an okay ladder match. Both men went at it, and it ended up with AJ and Ringo fighting on both the ladders. And then AJ manages to get it and then whacks Ringo gets the belt, whacks Ringo off the ladder with it, and then bumps your uncle. And then the best Daniel Bryan impersonations as well. It was an okay match. Wasn't as best or big, but it was an okay ladder match. But like I say, I've seen 10 times better ladder matches in WWE. But all in all, good match. Great job by both men. And AJ retains it. And AJ Anderson is the tag team partner of Tony Spitfire. Now, Colossus went 1-on-1. It was the heel. Now, this is what got me on the night. a very strange situation took place this night. Colossus, he's the big heel. He went one-on-one with a babyface Nathan Cruz. That's right. The show stealer was in town. He was a babyface, though, which was interesting in a way, because I've seen him many, many times in other promotions, British wrestling promotions. Nathan Cruz was a babyface. Yeah. In Progress Wrestling, he's a heel. He's a leader of the Origin. And I've seen him many, many times as well as a heel. Never seen him as a babyface. This was a very intriguing night. A very interesting dichotic of where this went. Because I've never seen him as a babyface before. Did it work? To a point, yes. It didn't work in this match, though. Because Colossus basically squashed the hell out of him in the match. Yes, Cruz fought back. Cruz tried to quicken the pace. This was a catchweight fight, is what it was. A catchweight match. Cruz tried to quicken things up, but it didn't work. Colossus just destroyed him, basically, in this match. And I was surprised that Cruz came out for the final match, which was the Survival Rumble. First Class All-Stars went up against Robbie Dynamite's crew, the faction of Fear. And it all came down to 2-on-1, which saw Colossus and I'm trying to think who it was. I'm trying to remember who it was. I know it was Colossus and Cruz that were in there. Colossus and Cruz, and I believe it was Mikey Long or Robbie Dynamite, one of them. But both of them got eliminated, and Cruz managed to stand out victorious. So, despite the fact of him getting his ass kicked by Colossus early on in the night, he managed to get a victory and steal the show, is what he did, as he always did. He was a main attraction of that night. Yes, they had all these other guys there, but Nathan Cruz is the star of this quartet as well. I also found out something that night as well, that the Middlesbrough Town Hall is closing for a year. What the fuck for? I don't know, but sooner that reopens, the better. All in all, though, great show. And if you're in Wall's End Memorial Hall, if you're in the area where it has Wall's End Memorial Hall and People's Centre, the MEM on March the 11th, get yourself to that show because it's going to be there. I don't know where that is, but I'm sure you guys can look it up on Google. All in all, though, great show, a good little show. And Nathan Cruz becomes the star of the show, quite frankly. He was the MVP of the evening. Yeah, just the MVP of the evening, so to speak. Wasn't the MVP in his match against Colossus, but the whole event, he was the MVP. He was the star attraction. People wanted to see him. Yes, there was a lot of hecklers there, a lot of smart asses, a lot of jerks too. I sat next to one and his girlfriend, which quite frankly done my head in all night. You know, them ignorant fucks. You know, you get them ignorant fuck fans and say, "Oh yeah, he's gonna do this." They think they just know it like that. You know, like predictability like that. It's just stupid. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of that shit. I hate people like that. Those are the sour points of being a wrestling fan, in my opinion. You know, you have to put up with bullshit like that. All in all, though, great show. And if you're ever in the area, if they ever come near you guys, check them out. They're worth a shot. My name is Anthony Walker. This is the end of the video, or the stream, whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for tuning in, or even taking the time to tune in. Tune in to the Wrestling Matters podcast this coming Monday, the 99th episode. And then the week after that is the big 100. And guys, I will have a promo lined up for the 100 show. I am just going to blatantly shoot of all the bullshit, you know, from where it was April 7th to where I am now. If you want to listen to that, you got to tune into the podcast February 29th. Check out Games Matter channel as well. My Games Matter channel as well. I'm doing live streams on there quite a lot lately. I did 2 today. One was a clusterfuck and the other one made up for it. So be sure to check them out. YouTube.com/Games Matter channel. Also check out Fastline, guys. Enjoy Fastline. I will have a review after it. I haven't promoted it yet. I'll do it within 12 hours or something. I haven't promoted it yet because I haven't had time. If I can create it tonight, I will. But I haven't had time lately because I've been a very busy boy. And at the moment right now, I'm going on basically 3 to 4 hours sleep, which is not good. I went to bed at 6 o'clock, 6:30 last night. Woke up this morning about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Nah, it's a no-go. But all in all, guys, thank you so much for watching. The only way you get to see this kind of stuff, you know, the weekly podcast, the wrestling content, me talk about wrestling shows like this one, is if you subscribe to the Wrestling Madness channel. Check out all the other guys as well. Check out my crew. Check out my wrestling crew as well. Sunday Segway, Max Wrestling, Offshoot Radio, and all that good stuff. Wrestling Madness podcast is on the Swerve Network. My name is Anthony Walker for the Wrestling Madness channel, saying, see ya.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Hughes.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Right, you lovely, lovely people. Welcome back to the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you enjoyed the couple of audios there. Now, I got a little something to do before I do anything else. Big shout out to my guys at the Mystery Island, David Anderson and his compadres as well. Because Mr. Anderson, I hope you're listening to this. I know it's not Kenneth Anderson for all you people. Mr. Anderson, now, I've been promoting these guys non-stop as best I can on this podcast. And I struck a deal with him. He Facebook messaged me a couple of weeks ago and said, a while ago, it was the beginning of the month, beginning of February, and said, if you send me your address, I can get a couple of autographs from you from the for the wrestlers. Rockstar Spud and I spit in the face of people who don't want to be called Carito appeared at the Mystery Island. Hope you guys enjoyed that, by the way, if you were there. And thanks to my man here, Mr. Anderson, and all the compadres and people who work at the Mystery Island shop, I got myself 2 pictures autographed from Carlito and Rockstar Spud. So shout out to you both, and shout out to David Anderson and the Mystery Island. Guys, if you don't know who the Mystery Island are, then you're complete idiots. Go and check them out. Facebook.com/Back to the Island. And yeah, be on the lookout as well, guys, because Blue Pants is coming as well. Blue Pants is coming to the Mystery Island very, very soon. Check it out, like I said. Get yourself on Facebook. All the information will be on Facebook. And even check their Twitter out as well. Their Mystery Island. Or is it Back to the Island? I'll check it in a second. Hang on. Either way, guys, just check them out. For more information on them as well, check out theanthonywalker.net. They are based in Liverpool. Birkenhead Market. Get yourself down there. Check them out. They've had people there. They've had Mr. Anderson. They've had Mr. Anderson, Hardcore Holly, Chris Masters. I think even Sabu's even been there. Yes, Carlito was there as well. And yeah, Peter MacArthur and what's his name? David Anderson. Wow, forgot your name there, dude. I deeply apologise. Brain fart there. Not the first time, though. While I'm here, I might as well get this in. Merseyside Massacre, TNT After Party at the Walkabout. More information, go on there. Blue Pants comes to Mystery Island on... Where's the date? I swear I've just seen the date. March 10th. Yep, March 10th. Blue Pants comes to Mystery Island on March 10th. You've seen her in NXT, and you've seen her all over the place, actually. And former WWE superstar, the one and only Chris Masters, that's right, the Masterpiece, invades Mystery Island at the back end of March 25th. So all the information is on the Facebook page, Back to the Island, facebook.com/Back to the Island. Big thank you to all the guys that work at the Mystery Island, who are associated with the Mystery Island, Peter MacArthur, David Anderson and co. And thank you to Carlito, and thank you to Mystery Island, Carlito and Rockstar Spud for my autographed pictures. And you'll be seeing them. I'll be tweeting them out very, very soon, as well as Facebook. So, mwah, you beauty. Now, also guys, next week is the 100th episode of the fastest rising podcast around. That's right, the Wrestling Matters podcast. At the moment right now, I've got Roxanne Woolhouse on the show. She's decided she's jumped on the ship to come back on. Now, the reason being, guys, you need to listen to the show next week. I'm recording it on the Sunday. This is a big, huge deal for me because next week we're going to do our regular stuff. We're going to have some fun. I'm probably going to reflect back on all the shit that I've done in the past 100 episodes. But next week, I'm going to cut a promo. I'm going to cut a promo that makes the promos that take place on Max Wrestling, the Max Wrestling podcast, look like something out of a Toys R Us store. Because I'm going to get real with you guys next week. I am going to cut a promo. I am going to cut a shoot promo. It's not going to be scripted. It's not going to be written by one of my comrades. It's not going to be handed to me on a silver platter, okay? You are going to hear it first-handed next week from the heart. I promise you that. Next week, I'm going to cut the biggest promo of my life. And it's going to be related from where I was April 7th to where I am right now. And it's must-hear podcast, must-see TV, must-hear podcast, whatever the fuck that phrase is. So you've got to check it out next week. Like I said, the only way you can check it out is next week on the Wrestling Matters podcast, only on youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. SoundCloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast, and my websites, theheadanthonywalker.net. If I put them up there, I'm actually working on the website again because I've got a Wix website coming on, so I should be back to normal this week, all being well. And like I say, guys, check them out. Check them out. Get them in there. It's going to be a big deal for me next week because it's the biggest show I will ever do. And just think, I've got the 100th episode next week. And then Monday, April 4th, I got the 2-year anniversary. So it's a huge couple of months coming up for me as far as the podcast goes. And I cannot wait. And also the back end of March, I believe it is, Michael Larkin will be returning for another installment of Wrestling Zone. I believe it's called Wrestle Zone or Wrestling Zone. I believe it's called. I ain't done it in a while. I even forgot what it is. We haven't done it in a while. I was on his show before, but he hasn't. He's been busy at the moment, so we have to tune in. It's at the back end of March, so. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening to the episode 99 of the Wrestling Matters podcast. My name is Anthony Walker. Big thank you shout out to everybody. Shout out to Sunday Segway, Offshoot Radio, Max Wrestling Podcast, OSW TV. Check them out. Check out all the sponsors. Every single list will be on my website of all the people that I work with. So be sure to check them out. Be sure to check them out at all times. Also, shout out to Mystery Island as well. And shout out to Carlito and Rockstar Spud. Thank you so much for the autograph pictures. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Check out this week as well for the biggest wrestling podcast I'll ever do. The 100th episode. See you next week, guys. Peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Make it till death!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.